Chapter 28. Hung, Drawn and Quartered. "I'm terribly sorry to interrupt," said the Queen in her clipped tones, "but might I get back to the important matter at hand? I still don't understand why the two of you are here in the Tower of London in the middle of the night, smelling of poo-poo, and attempting to steal my jewels." "Well, once I'd started, the lie grew and grew, Your Majesty," continued Granny, avoiding Ben's eyes. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I just got carried away, I suppose. It was so nice to spend that extra time with my grandson and have fun with him. It reminded me of when I used to read him bedtime stories. That was in the days when he didn't find me boring." Ben fidgeted. He was starting to feel guilty, too. Granny had lied to him, and that was horrible, but she'd only done it because she was upset that he thought she was dull. "I had fun, too," he whispered. Granny smiled at him. "I'm glad, little Benny. I'm so sorry. I really—" "Ahem!" interrupted the Queen. "Oh, yes," said Granny. "Well, before I knew it, things had snowballed, and we were planning to take on the most daring robbery of all time. We climbed up the sewage pipe, by the way. We don't usually smell like this, Your Majesty." "I should hope not." Phooey! Ben was feeling really guilty now. Even if Granny had never been an international jewel thief, she certainly wasn't boring. She had helped plan this robbery with him, and now they were in the Tower of London at midnight, talking to the Queen. "I have to do something to help her," Ben realised. "The robbery was my idea, Your Majesty," he said. "I'm so sorry." "Please let my grandson go," interjected Granny. "I don't want his young life ruined, please. I beg you, we were going to return the crown jewels tomorrow night, I promised." "A likely story," murmured the Queen. "It's true," exclaimed Ben. "Please do what you want with me, Your Majesty," continued Granny. "Have me locked up in the tower forever if you like, but I beg you, let the boy go." The Queen looked lost in thought. "I really don't know what to do," said the Queen eventually. "I am touched by your story. As you know, I too am a grandmother, and my grandchildren find me dull sometimes." "Really?" asked Ben. "But you are the Queen." "I know," the Queen chuckled. Ben was stunned. He'd never seen the Queen laugh before. She was usually so serious, and never cracked a smile while giving her speech on TV at Christmas, or opening Parliament, or even watching comedians at the Royal Variety Show. "But to them, I'm just their boring old granny," she continued. "They forget I was young once." "And that they too will be old one day," added Granny with a meaningful look at Ben. "Exactly, my dear," agreed the Queen. "I think the younger generation need to have a bit more time for the elderly." "I'm sorry, Your Majesty," said Ben. "If I hadn't been so selfish and moaned about old people being boring, none of this would have ever happened." There was an uncomfortable silence. Granny rummaged in her handbag and offered the Queen a bag of sweets. "Murray mint, Your Majesty?" "Yes, please," said the Queen. She unwrapped it and popped it in her mouth. "Gosh, I haven't had one of these for years." "They're my favourite," said Granny. "And they last so long," added the Queen as she sucked it before composing herself again. "Do you know what happened to the last man who attempted to steal the crown jewels?" inquired the Queen. "Was he hung, drawn and quartered?" asked Ben excitedly. "Believe it or not, he was pardoned," said the Queen with a wry smile. "Pardoned, Your Majesty?" said Granny. "In 1671, an Irishman by the name of Colonel Blood tried to steal them, but he was caught by the guards as he tried to escape. He hid this very crown I am wearing now under his cloak and dropped it on the ground just outside. King Charles II was so amused by Colonel Blood's daring attempt that he set him free." "I must Google him," said Ben. "I don't know what Googling is," said Granny. "Nor me," chuckled the Queen. "So, in royal tradition, that's what I'm going to do. Pardon you both." "Oh, thank you, Your Majesty," said Granny, kissing her hand. Ben fell to his knees. Thank you so much, Your Majesty." Yes, don't grovel," said the Queen haughtily. "I cannot abide grovelling. I have met far too many grovellers during my reign." I'm so sorry, Your Majestical Royal Majesty, said Granny. That's exactly what I mean. You're grovelling now, replied the Queen. Ben and Granny looked at each other in fear. It was hard not to speak to Her Majesty without grovelling at least a little bit. Now jolly along quickly, please, said the Queen, before this whole place is overrun with guards, and don't forget to watch me on the telly on Christmas Day.